This is my new pillow, y'all. I got this for my birthday. It's so cute. Handmade, okay. The cotton was flown from Peru. This is a collectible item. It is not for sale. And there will not be another one made. It's one of a kind, boo. Let's put that back there. Safe place, safe keepings. But no, welcome to the first episode of Keeping It Real Saturdays. But this is the first episode of Keeping It Real Saturdays, and I'm really excited to be starting this. Actually, I got this idea really on last Saturday. I was talking to somebody, and I was just kind of like, dang, this today we just keeping it 100. Like, this to keep it 100 day. Like, I feel like a lot of people been coming to me, just keeping it real. And I'm like, yeah, they are. Shit, it's 100 day. And they was like, shit, keeping it real. I'm like, Keeping It Real Saturdays. There it goes. And so I'm like, well, I could do this every week. I feel like everybody needs to keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of us hold our tongues now in this day and age because it's like hard to, you have to watch what you say. Let's say that. You have to watch what you say, who you say it to sometimes, because everybody's not going to take it the way you meant for it to be taken. So I may say something to you and you might take that in an offensive way, but I didn't mean it that way. So a lot of people are like refraining from keeping it like real, which I do agree with that. There is some things you probably shouldn't say to people because they're rude or that's mean or it's just unnecessary. Like some shit you don't have to say. Even if you felt that way, keep that shit to yourself. Like, I might think your hair look a mess, but if I am not in the place, first of all, if I'm not in the proper environment, around the good company, or we're just not that cool, I'm not going to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Like, your hair looks bad. Okay, like, that's on you. You have people in your life that I'm sure will pull you to the side in a proper way and say, like, hey, girl, like, your bangs low-key flipped up. Let's go to the bathroom and try to tuck your bang in. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always a way to say something. So, yeah, still keep it real, but just know when to keep it real and who to keep it real with. Okay? Cool. That's the first rule. Rule number 1 of this episode. Of these episodes, know when to keep it real and who to keep it real with. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that you're not a real person because you're not keeping it real with everybody, because everybody can't receive your real. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's somebody out here to keep it real with somebody else. Like, I'm put on this earth to keep it real with XYZ. You're put on this earth to keep it real with ABC. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might not click with A. So I can't keep it real with A. Like that. I can, am I making sense? I feel like I'm making sense, but I might be losing you a little bit. So I can, like, break it down. Everybody, like I said, everybody's not going to be able to handle your version of, like, real. Like, you might think you're being real, but somebody else might not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't keep it real with everybody. And you got to know when to keep it real. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? So this, I will say that I want to make this like open discussion though. So like whatever the topic is for that week, I want people to definitely like respond back and be like, hey, I agree with this, or hey, I don't agree with this because blah, 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 XYZ. Like, I do want that to be a thing. Don't feel like you can't respond, you know what I'm saying? And because it is open discussion. Everybody's opinions is different. And this keep it real is not like directed toward a person or a people, if that makes sense. Like a certain kind of people, a certain group of like male, female, or whatever. It's just everybody. This is just my version of me keeping it real with myself. I'm not trying to keep it real with y'all. I'm saying this wrong. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I know what I'm saying, but I can't like articulate it the way I want to. So I'm doing this to keep it real with I guess this is basically like me keeping it real with myself on camera. And I want you guys to see if you agree. Boom, there we go. I'm keeping it real with myself. This is what I have decided this week. Like, this happened to me this week, and this is how I feel about whatever happened to me this week. This is my version of keeping it real. Like, okay, someone needs to tell you this, or you need to tell yourself this. So I'm just giving it to y'all too, because it might help somebody else. Like, somebody else might need to hear this, and they might not have a friend that they can go to that can tell them like what's really up or whatever. And then eventually, like, people can send in like, hey, talk about this, like, hey, talk about that. That's cool too. Like, I'm open to do that too. But I think I kind of covered the point. I hope. I really hope. So this week's first topic is expectations of people. Like, what we expect from other people. So this week, I actually had an experience with different people. Like, not just one person, different people. And I feel like a lot of the time, I was let down in a sense, or irritated, upset by something that they did. But ultimately, it was my fault that I felt that way, because I expected more from that person. And really, a lot of the time, that happens to a lot of us. Like, we expect so much from people because we know that we would have done things a different way, or we would have felt a different way about it, but everybody's not going to feel how you feel about something. So it's like, you cannot, like, expectations are basically like setting yourself up for failure, unless it's like your mom or your dad or your, like, or somebody you know you can like count on for real. Like, you know, if you call your mom, I know if I call my mom right now and I ask for something and she be like, I'll see what I can do. My expectations of my mom and seeing what she can do is high, because I know she's probably going to figure it out, and I'm going to probably get whatever I asked for, because it's your mom. And my mom always comes through. Like, she never has been like the person be like, oh, like, to let me down when I really needed something or needed help or whatever. So, like, that's a different case. If you know the person is really reliable and you've been with this person your whole life, or they're your bestie, or what, your mom, your dad, your aunt, whatever, then that's different. But when you start dealing with other people, like friendships or just like classmates, coworkers, relationships, all that kind of stuff, like, we expect a lot out of people that we probably will never get. Like, it's just like we as people want everybody to be kind of like where we are, like in the mind, you know, like mentally we want people to think how we think and kind of agree with us and all that, but that's just not realistic. It's not realistic in life. You're gonna meet so many different people, you know, like, and they're gonna have an expectation too. Like, that's another thing. Like, we expect something from people, but they also expect something from us. And it's like, you never know how that person is like feeling, like if you held up your end of the bargain of the expectation. Like, you don't know, because people aren't just gonna tell you like they're expecting you to do this. That's just like like an inside thing. You're not gonna tell somebody like, hey, I expect this person to be with me forever. Like, they gonna be my girlfriend or boyfriend for the rest of their life. I'm expecting that. Like, people don't tell you that. But that's their expectation. So if you hit them with the text like, hey, you know, I'm done with this, or I won't be with you no more, then they shook. They like, what you mean? Like, I expected blah, blah, blah. But you can't. Just don't expect a lot from people, because you can get let down a lot, and that may hurt your feelings. It may like hold you back from something. Like, you never know. Like, just always take stuff for like what it is. That's just me keeping it real with myself, because like I said, I experienced something like that recently, where I expected a lot from a person that they never were going to be able to like do for me. Like, they can never like help me with that, or like they can never be the friend that I really wanted them to be, you know. So it's like, you're like putting yourself into like a emotion that you could have just completely avoided if you would have just like took a step back and been like, hey, what ultimately am I gonna gain from this situation? Or like, what are they gonna gain from this situation? Like, what type of relationship is this? Like, what, like, you don't know. So it's like, you have to really like take that time and think about what's gonna be best for you in your like life and emotions or whatever. Because expectation is a tough word, because you expect a lot out of yourself sometimes. Sometimes you expect too much of yourself, and then sometimes you don't expect a lot out of yourself, and that can be bad. and then you expect much out of other people, and it's just expectation. What is the definition of expectation? I lost what I was about to say. That's that on that.